So the other day I was talking to a company CEO who had hired a number of people throughout the past year or so, and trained them, sent them to various events to basically raise the level of their expertise. And after a couple of months, they all have something in common, that they left very shortly afterwards. And basically said it couldn't have been because of the salary, because the salary was very competitive, was basically the same as the market in that respective economy. So then what could have been the major reason for all these people to leave? I would say yes, you could say it's a toxic workplace. From experience, I know that company, and it's not the case. However, it is a type of company who doesn't have a set of core values and principles in general. Leadership is not necessarily leadership in that particular company. It's more like a transactional type of leadership. So basically what happened there is that those employees had lost motivation to continue with their jobs because, it's a very dynamic market. So maybe they had some friends in some competing company, and they prefer to work closer to their friends. So they didn't feel like they belonged in that workplace. And I believe this is a very important trend that you must be aware of here. The de facto trend nowadays is to work remotely. And by working remotely for many years, most of my career, I can tell you from my experience that one of the most significant challenges of showing up to work every day is motivation. And this is particularly important in remote working environments. And the reason why I'm saying this is, of course, that I expect employers to be screening a lot more for this motivational element, for this sense of belonging. Does this type of person is the type of person who can do well here? Do they feel like they connect well with the culture and the leadership principles that we have here? And the other thing is that half of the new hires in these high-performing companies do not make it there. So I believe that also the onboarding process will be something that will be essential when it comes to defining your motivation. So if you're not really careful at really defining what your motivation is for doing the job that you're doing, and really defining the limits for your motivation, and really learning how to find motivation, even if you don't have your colleagues nearby, even if you cannot really form a group of people, a team of people. And most of people develop this sense of belonging from this sense of team, right? So now in a remote working environment, it's more about finding that sense of motivation all by yourself, on your own, if you want. So I believe this is one of the most important characteristics and defining factors of a successful both candidate, if you want, if you show your sense of belonging, if you show that you're someone who really belongs in the type of culture that your company for which you're applying for has. And furthermore, if you onboard with that company and really show your motivation, show your engagement in your ability to do the job, which by the way doesn't always mean to speak a lot or to show your enthusiasm and all that stuff. But I believe that defining your motivation is really, really important in a remote work setting. So I wanted to bring this to your attention. Maybe it's an interesting exercise to define what's your motivation, even if you're applying for a job, but even if you are actually in a job and trying to perform there in this remote working context.